Another day, another Aaron Shoenke story is coming out. And this time it's coming from the Kickstarter, not the one that passed, but the one that failed. And this is not just any Kickstarter. This is the one for Legend of the White Dragon, where the goal was to raise $500,000. Well, lo and behold, it did raise $500,000. But if you actually go down and start looking through the comments section, now look, I'm not going to say I read them all, but there was one comment that stood out that someone brought to my attention. And I was like, let me go see. Let me go look. And it's right here. You like, wait, wait, Henry. Oh, no. We might have to do it this way. We might have to do it this way so you can see. This person says right here. Now, this comment is almost 6 years ago and their name is gone, but maybe they'll watch this video and then they'll get back to me because I really want to interview this person. Now, the story starts out, I donated $1 close enough to this campaign's ending simply because I wanted to use this comment section to speak my piece about this project before it concludes. You're like, damn, well, what could they say? I'm choosing to remain anonymous, but when this campaign was announced, I felt the need to share my story and feelings. And if you read the following, in its entirety, you'll see why. You're like, holy shit, dude donated $1. This is diabolical. Like, yo, I donated $1 just so I could post this one comment anonymously. They go on to say, I have nothing to gain by lying. The following is indeed the truth. If you'll permit me, I like to share my history with Bat and the Sun in this project as final thoughts now. Like, man. 5 years ago, I was approached and commissioned by Bat and the Sun to write this project along with several other projects, Power Rangers related, Batman related, and more. So obviously, this is a writer who alleges that they wrote not only Legend of the White Dragon, some Power Ranger stuff, and a Batman project. You like, wait, wait. Okay, let's keep going. At the time, it was conceived more of a short and would be a Green Ranger vehicle titled Legend of the Emerald Dragon. But the principal conceit was the same. That post-apocalyptic story which follows Tommy on the run as he's convinced to stand up to a main antagonist, tapping back into his dormant Ranger powers to save his daughter and the world. We like, okay. I still have my copies of the script I wrote in collaboration with Bat and the Sun. Damn, I would love to see those copies. I would love to see them. With the creation of this Kickstarter, my initial immediate reaction was anger. Anger because something I worked on and wrote would move forward, most certainly without crediting my contributions to its conception. So now we have a alleged writer saying, hey, this is some shit I wrote coming to fruition and I'm not getting credited. Oh, man. Bat and the Sun and I parted ways in the process. I was accused by Aaron Shoenke of Bat and the Sun of being an uneducated individual and poor writer, which after the amount of work I've done for that studio was quite hurtful and inaccurate. Damn, dog. Aaron, you gonna answer for this? Or if anyone knows this writer, tell him to contact me. Especially since Aaron is all about getting credit, you know? In the intervening years since providing services to Bat and the Sun, I graduated magna cum laude with honors of Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. I've written 4 novels, which are currently being revised now, along with a short fiction been successfully published. They go on to say, the treatments I received from Bat and the Sun for Legend of the Emerald Dragon were nearly unintelligible, rife with typos and poor grammar, which made the process of writing the short screenplay quite difficult. Man. Often, I would have to spend time translating and rewriting the treatments first, so I wasn't working off broken English I could barely read. Oh man, I wonder if this tracks. Take a moment and read some of the Batnus Son's own responses in this very comment thread, and you'll be able to note a pattern of similarly sloppy writing, which is telling coming from a professional production company. Well, just because it's a professional production company doesn't mean, people there can write. You know what I'm saying? I can start a production company. That don't mean I know how to do anything. This was the case on everything from the project to several Batman shorts to a dropped adaptation of Wolfenstein and the original short Taz Caden, which, like the project, ultimately went nowhere, as viewers familiar with Batman's Son surely can attest. Superpower beatdown notwithstanding, their track record or lack thereof speaks for itself for those willing to hear it out. Guys, you got to open your mind. Got to open your mind. Open your mind. This is why I felt angry. I was shunned for providing work that has since been used here and accused of being less, when the reality of Batman's Son suggests the opposite to be the case. Damn, dog. Your shit is in here? Oh, man, I got to go through the comment section now of the new one. Aaron's like, shit, I got to go through it too now, Henry. What the fuck? I got to beat you to it. I felt angry about this campaign. I was labeled unintelligent by its creator. And yet something I contributed to creatively clearly proved worthwhile enough to finally be pursued. Damn. Then they kind of lose the plot right here for a little bit. I was accepted into graduate school last year and yet have been unable to enroll due to financial burdens. They're currently waiting for me with an indefinite open invitation to be admitted as we speak, so I can further my education and continue to hone my craft while writing original fiction. Meanwhile, because of student loans, I'm being prevented from earning my master's degree and bettering my life. Loans that could have been paid off in the first 48 hours of this campaign and would now be paid off 6 times over when the current amount occurred. I wonder, what was the deal? Where's the contract, my guy? Reach out to me, man. If anyone knows this guy, reach out. Instead, this amount of money was put toward a fan film I wrote, but would never be acknowledged for it had it been made intensively. As a writer, this hurts just being mocked and ridiculed for my capabilities as a writer by Aaron Shoenke. Hurt all those years ago. My student loans are my burden. I can't move forward with a higher education, while a project I contributed to has raised over 6 figures, clearly demonstrating that something I contributed to can appeal to an audience. Yeah, I would be pissed off, dog. I'm not going to lie. I'd be like, yo, what can we do about this? Like this is where you seek out an entertainment lawyer, if you can. And that's the problem. Like when you steal from like a smaller person who is already saying, hey, I got some financial hardships right now. And most of these lawyers going to say, hey, I need about 5 to 10,000. And you're suing someone who's likely, don't got the money. You can find a good one. Maybe they could send like a C&D if you can prove that, hey, they stole my shit or they're using my shit without my permission. But that is a tough thing to prove. But after watching these teaser trailer for Legend of the White Dragon and upon further reflection of the project in its current state, I'm not angry anymore. Okay? I can assure you this has nothing to do with the campaign's impending failure, since there's no chance of it raising the full $500,000 by this afternoon. Well, here's the thing. They raised it on the next one, on the retry. Now, as a writer and a storyteller, I feel regret and pity. Pity for the potential I missed opportunity of Legend of the White Dragon due to his efforts to perpetuate a complete and utter character assassination of the character of Tommy Oliver. Power Ranger fan? Fans have been duped into thinking this is worthwhile portrayal, but it's not. Allow me to elaborate. I guess, is this the plot? The Legend of the White Dragon is set up in a post-apocalyptic future. Fair enough. The Rangers are dead, scattered, bitter, etc. There's a potential in that premise. But with this project, Bat and the Son has chosen to present Tommy as someone running away from a fight because of how much he's lost. So I guess that's Eric Reed. Then, when he's given a reason to fight and the means to do so, he's antagonistic, angry about it, even when he's told his daughter's life is in danger and he's given a way to save her. If anything, he seems more annoyed than concerned. Guess it's the plot. This man is told where he can rescue his daughter, and given the power to save her, and his instinct is to threaten the person who given him these things. I wonder if this is in Legend of the White Dragon. This is nothing against the acting of Jason David Frank or his fellow performers. They've been part of the industry for decades and are passionate, consummate professionals dedicated to their craft and their fans. There is no question of the talent element whatsoever. Okay. This portrayal's problem stems from both material the actors have been provided and the direction they've been given. Watching the teaser trailer was incredibly disheartening because this portrayal of Tommy and Power Rangers at large, even in this proposed context, is frankly awful. I'm quite sorry I ever had a hand in writing it. God damn, they did a 180. This is not how you portray this character. This isn't Tommy Oliver. I had so many others grew up in the 1990s that so many fans look up to. Now, before you assume that there be a result of what this story proposes, he's gone through, hear me out. According to Bat and the Son, I'm an educated writer. But here is what I, as a writer, would do given my understanding of both storytelling and Power Rangers property. I would remember the actual series itself and everything Tommy went through all the way back to the roots of his own introduction. I would remember that in said introduction, he was corrupted and used as an agent of evil. And I work with the idea that evil was a burden and guilt had to carry. Even he has converted and gradually became not only a Power Ranger, but arguably the best of them. I mean, he was the GOAT, so you have that. Instead of making Tommy some cynical, jaded coward who's all angry and passive and has to be convinced to proactive again in this apocalyptic nightmare, I would make him the last man standing. Or he's giving like ideas, like, dude, you're giving out ideas for free. You know, Aaron's watching, dog. You're like, oh, it's a great idea. Too bad, reshoots are already done. All right. When the very idea of the Power Rangers was ceased to exist, the best of them would be the ones trying to hold on to it. Because he knows what it's like to lose oneself evil. And even after he done in that Green with Evil arc, the Power Rangers saved him. They gave him a family and purpose in spite of the actions and never turned their back on him. How much longer is this good? So it astounds me that Bat and the Son would completely miss that and have Tommy turn his back on the Rangers here. Oh, so he turns his back on people. All right, I'm guessing. I can only guess. All right. Tommy was introduced as a character conflicted by the past sins and developed into a character who became a leader. For those reasons, there is no way on earth that he would ever become what Bat and the Son is proposing here. All right. He would be the last Ranger. He would be the one trying to convince whoever was left to join him. He would see all of these people, these brothers in arms suffering and in pain, and he would be the one desperately trying to pull it right because the Power Rangers were the one guiding light that offered him a sense of purpose and personal fulfillment. Tommy would not allow the loss to turn him cold. Rather, it would drive him to be that much more noble, even with the entire world on fire, crumbling around him precisely because he's been there himself. That's how you do this. Not this bitter, cowardly, hollow excuse of a man. Not what Bat and the Son is trying to do. All right, so I guess Eric Reed is going to be, I don't know, have some trepidation about avenging his daughter's death. But the craziest thing about this is not him he lost the plot. I mean, he literally got stuck on the plot when he should have honed in on um, him being told he was uneducated, you know? That's something he should have honed in, and the fact that they commissioned him, you know? Hey, we parted ways in the process, and I was accused of Aaron by batting the son of being uneducated, an individual, and a poor writer. Now, it's ironic that he said poor writer because word around town is Aaron can't write to save his life. And that has been a huge hindrance. And in fact, most of the Bat and the Son actors would probably agree that some of them end up ad-libbing their lines and writing their own lines. And I'm sure he'll be like, oh, that's just being an actor. But Aaron doesn't use scripts, so I've been told. But this right here is kind of like the intro to this segment right here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.